Hello, welcome to Propane Emergencies Training Program. My name is Mike DeGiorgio, Director of Transportation and Safety for Paraco Gas Corp. Our Advanced Propane Emergency Response Training is a 10-hour course designed for the benefit of the volunteer fire service. Our program is scheduled to run on a Friday evening and all day on Saturday. We customize our training to accommodate the fire service schedules. We specialize in propane high-impact fire control and leak control. Our primary objective is to quickly get control of the leak to prevent catastrophic failure that would endanger responders in the communities that we serve. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of presenting a snapshot of only a few of the live leak control and fire control evolutions. Prior to starting our evolutions, we always check the equipment to make sure that everything is functioning properly. We test all the equipment out before every evolution. We like using liquid leaks so we can demonstrate the effect of water on the liquid leaks. In this particular photo, you can see that the attack teams are pushing the liquid back with 2 attack lines and water fog. Over here they're practicing attacking the liquid leak. This is a rather large liquid leak coming out of a relief valve opening where the relief valve was snapped off. And you could see they're focusing the water on the liquid leak right at the tank. This is old school and something that we don't recommend any longer. You'll see as they move the stream or the attack line up the leak and adjust their pattern, they can get control of the leak and keep the leak out of the flammable range. We have teams downwind checking the effectiveness of the water on the leak. As they move up the leak and get the water away from the source where it's already too rich and can't ignite, now we have opportunity for attack teams to get in there and patch, plug, or cap the leak. In this photo you can see 2 teams, 2 different approaches pushing a very serious liquid leak back away from the tank. Likewise in this video we have 2 attack teams, one right now with a fog pattern showing the old school way of attacking the leak, and we're actually too close to the source of the leak, bringing in air, leaning out the leak right here at the point of the leak. We don't want to see that. We want to adjust the pattern and bring the pattern up higher in the leak, as you'll see in the next video segment. Right here there's no room for anybody to work. We're literally spraying water on our attack teams or technicians that are going in there to cap, plug, or patch. So we practice this. We let firefighters see what effect they're having on bringing air into the leak at this point. Then we narrow out the pattern, raise the attack line, and get the air coming into the leak higher and further out, leaning out the leak and bringing it out of the flammable range. And we're effective at doing this with 1 attack line. In the event that it's necessary, we can always add an attack line downwind. And here again we have guys with multi-gas meters making sure that we're effective at keeping this out of the flammable range. Perfect view of a narrower pattern higher up into the leak, just bringing oxygen in there and getting this leak out of the flammable range. More importantly, we're not soaking technicians that are getting in there to cap, plug, or patch. And of course, always monitor the temperature of the steel. As you're bringing teams in to attack this fire, you want to get thermal imaging cameras or thermometers on that tank to keep an eye on the temperature of the steel. We're always very successful at keeping that temperature down around 180 degrees Fahrenheit to 250, 300 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on the wind and the amount of the leak. This is a worst case scenario leak. You've got a very large liquid leak here coming from multiple points of origin. So it's quite a hot fire. Here we have a fully involved tank, and the traditional approach, we've got to get better water fogs here, which we do, and you push that leak back off the tank. But you'll see that we will show some of the traditional old school approaches. We have safeties built into these evolutions that are pneumatically controlled and right up at the tank. In the unlikely event of an emergency where we have to shut down the exercise, the safety officer at the tower where we're controlling the propane can shut off the evolution immediately. We have two nice sources of liquid leaks here, and we get a huge fire. Look at that fireball. I love it. That's quite incredible. 3,500 degrees Fahrenheit at the core and quite large. We actually have a little man in that photo. I'll show him to you later. We always get firefighters used to attacking these fires the traditional way. Approach from the side under the protection of a water fog, push the fire back off the tank, and this is beautiful. We have a large liquid leak here, and the fire is almost completely gone. You can see some of it up here, but for the most part they've pushed the fire off the tank. They can get in there and do an assessment, or maybe even turn off a valve. Generally it's not as easy as just shutting off a valve, and it's rare that you can approach one of these emergencies and be successful at turning off a valve and stopping the leak. After every evolution, we go back and critique the evolution, talk about what we could have done better. Here we have two attack teams approaching from the side, on the upwind side of the leak, and you'll see that they'll successful at getting that fire back off the tank. What we're going to show you here is some advanced techniques, different approaches that you can use to push that fire back off the tank and actually start creating a water cone to make sure that that leak is up off the tank. Before we allow the teams to approach, we go through a review, let them know what they expect of us, of them, and what our role is and what their role is on each attack line. And just another picture of a different approach from the side. And you can see they have total control of the fire and have pushed it back off the tank. Be nice if we can just shut off a valve and stop the leak, but generally that's not the case. We often have to do some sort of capping, plugging, or patching operation. And we practice that on a regular basis, and I can promise you that we're very successful at stopping 98% of the leaks by capping, plugging, or patching. The important thing here to remember is it's difficult to implement any capping, plugging, or patching operation while the tank is on fire. Some tactical decision making will be required. You'll have to make a decision on whether or not you want to extinguish the fire and control the leak. That is one of the reasons why we practice advanced leak control. Fire is bad. You can't work there. Look at it. There's no room. You can't expect anybody to get up there and even analyze this and do an evaluation to see exactly where the leak is and come up with a procedure for stopping this leak. I promise you that if you practice leak control, you can control the leak and keep it out of the flammable range. If you look at these videos and these attack evolutions here, you'll see that what is actually happening here is the firefighters are pushing the leak off the tank. They're controlling the leak, not the fire. By controlling the leak, the fire is following the leak where we're pushing it. So if we can control the leak while it's on fire, we can certainly control the leak without fire and make sure that this leak doesn't find ignition and burn back to the source. Remember, at the source of the leak, it's too rich, it's not going to ignite. If you can immediately get it out of the flammable range and keep it lean, it won't light. And of course, proper PPE, having the right amount of safety officers and the right amount of safety lines prevents accidents like this. Losing water on an attack line and a firefighter catching on fire. We have to always make sure that the safety of the firefighters is our primary objective. Soon we're going to extinguish these fires and show you some leak control techniques. What you've been looking at here is a few different attacks. Attack from the corner and an attack from the side, pushing the leak back, and the fire following the leak. So we're controlling the fire by controlling the leak. They're just practicing with a different pattern, showing them what effect one hose line from the corner of the tank has on the liquid leak with a different pattern. We like to let them practice this so they could see firsthand and they know what to expect. Now we have one attack line pushing the fire back toward the mountain and the other attack line pushing it downwind. You can see back here we have other guys standing by with safety lines and another safety line on the other side of the tank. Notice we don't have a wide fog pattern. We've narrowed out the streams here, and we're allowing firefighters to just see and feel what happens as you change the pattern and approach from different angles. During these evolutions, you can easily see that there's no flame impingement on the tank. In this video here, we're showing everyone how you can get hold of a serious liquid leak that's in a confined space. Push that leak back with a rather narrow water pattern here, back into the corner of the confined space area, and do an evaluation to see exactly what's leaking. We have another fog line standing by over here, and people downwind in the background making sure that we're keeping this leak out of the flammable range. Now a technician can get in there and do an assessment, see what's leaking, and something as simple in this particular case as turning off a valve would stop this leak. But with all the white fog in the confined space area, that's going to be impossible to make that determination. So you bring an attack team in with a water line, push that liquid leak back to the corner downwind, where you have all ignition sources controlled, another fog line ready just in case we're not keeping it out of the flammable range, and we make a determination on what's leaking. And in this particular case, an underground storage tank. Back here you can see the liquid leak coming out of the service valve. It was as simple as turning off a valve, but nobody would know that unless you can push that fog back out of the way. So yes, we can control large liquid leaks. That happens to be a 1-inch ID line spraying pure liquid in this confined space area. You can hear everybody getting a little bit excited here, and that's because they learned that they can control the leak, push the leak back, and make an evaluation. I love this photo here. Looks like we have a little man developing in this fire. Here the firefighters push the fire back off the tank. They change the fog pattern. We have two attack teams approaching, and we're actually building an ice cone. You can see the ice cone developing right here. There's no more flame impingement on the tank. The ice cone is developed. and the fire is now all the way up here. No more flame impingement. Ice cone. Really nice view of the ice cone and the fire coming out of the top of the cone. These guys now can change the pattern, push this back. Somebody could get in there, do an evaluation, cap, plug, or patch. Once again, a reminder, having the right PPE, safety officers, and safety lines available in the unlikely event of an emergency like this. So here we go, a couple of attack lines moving in from two different angles, pushing the liquid leak back and keeping it out of the flammable range, with a team always monitoring steel temperature. In this particular photograph, you can see they've pushed the fire all the way back off the tank. One attack line, pretty narrow stream. Liquid leak being pushed back. Another fog team over here, keeping it out of the flammable range. We know this is successful. And here's our man waving to us. Look at this. I love this stuff. He's right here. His arms, his hands, peeking out of that fire, smiling at us. That's because we got him under control. Good stuff. So we teach firefighters that you can knock the fire out and successfully keep the liquid leak out of the flammable range. Now we do this with massive leaks. We do worst case scenarios here. So if you're successful at handling these difficult tasks, you can definitely handle the smaller ones.